Hello.
Morning.
Let's see. It's another Wednesday morning.
Sleeping. It's cloudy and dark outside. We shouldn't even be awake yet.
I know. I was laying there and I'm like, I have to go draw on eyebrows for Marianne.
Yeah, right. Because it's Wednesday.
Oh, let's see. Oh, we have our friends joining us already. We have Natalie and Dawn. And we were just talking about you, Sadie. Got to meet Sue over the this past weekend. Actually, she didn't get to come to the signing, the meet and greet. I don't, unless I'm thinking of the wrong friend here. Because one of our Wednesday friends came in to take a look at Oberlin, but had to leave and couldn't come to the signing.
There were a lot of people there, though, that we talked to on Wednesday morning. It was nice seeing people. It was nice putting a face to some of these people.
Yes, yes.
You
Oh, he's not MII anymore.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, he purchased a checkbook so he can keep up the new moon, but the pages are yellow. So does that help or mean anything? Oh, actually, yellow's pretty good. Yellow, gold.
Well, yellow is the one. Yeah, these are the ones I had made. Let's put it in front of me, I think. So see, it says Law of Abundance on it, but I had these made up, and all the checks in here are yellow. Mm-hmm. So with all the dates and everything. Oh, I'm hoping this will stop people asking so many questions every month. It's self-explanatory, and you have the checks right there. You don't even have to rip them out. You can just leave them in there.
Well, there you go, and then just store the whole checkbook.
That's right. And there's enough in there for you and your significant other, so 2 of you can do it in the month. So a couple extras in case you mess up. I did that for myself because I always mess up.
So. In case you make that little boo-boo, right?
Right.
Yeah, I meant to ask you. So when you make a mess up on like a deposit slip or something at the bank, and they have you just initial
it, yeah.
You just initial on the Law of Abundance check.
Yeah, and see, the thought of scratching it out just tells me you're scratching everything out. So I just do a whole new one.
Another one.
Throw it out and start a new one. Yeah, it just, I don't know. It's my quirky thing.
I just tear up yellow legal pads into little squares and.
Yeah, and it works. I mean, it certainly works.
All right. Well, if anybody is new, Mary Ann, you were the inspiration and the consultant for the TV show The Ghost Whisperer. So anybody new joining us who might have questions about earthbound spirits, portals, curses, negative energy. I wonder where you got that cup from.
Could be somebody with red hair. Ghost Whisperer. This is my gift from Melissa. And this holds a lot. You can't believe how much this holds.
Has Ted used his?
Oh, yes, he has. He likes it too. So. And it's nice because Ted says the Ghost Whisperer's husband. So really cute. Really cute.
Did you try your tea yet?
No, not yet. I'm going to try it this weekend, though. So I didn't know. Yeah. I have to find my... your
little tea strainer?
Right. It's somewhere. It could be one of 3 places, so I'll find it.
Ted, where's the tea ball?
And he's going to go, what?
Let's see. Dawn. Or Dawn, not Dawn, Dawn. I have a dumb question. If you throw out or lose a former Law of Abundance check, does the universe take back, reclaim the abundance it gave?
No. I mean, people have stored these in their house burned down or the movers lost them. If it's not your doing, in other words, after you write this month, if you didn't take last month's, then roll it up in a ball and throw it out. No, But if you do it intentionally, it's not going to take it back, but it's just not going to work. They're going to go, oh, not important. Let's not bother.
Yeah, like you're not appreciative maybe.
No, exactly.
Like, look at this spoiled little thing. Let's see. I think Lewis.
Oh, I did ask Lewis about that place. Ask him,
Oh,
Lewis, do you know a place called Cozy Feet that's in your neck of the woods? I ordered some socks from them, and they're very nice socks, but I didn't know if that was close to where you live. You have to come back on and say.
now the waiting begins. Lewis.
Yeah, Lewis, where are you?
Oh, City likes your cup. Hey, thank you.
Yes, I do too.
Oh, so does the Goth Bash Incarnate. Cup of Ghosts.
It is. I've never seen one like it. It's lovely.
Let's see. Lewis, though, before you asked your question, said, "Who was the first person you told other than your family? I read your book, so I know how you told Ted. But what was your friend's reaction when they found out what you could do? Do your friends know?"
You know, it was really weird the first time that I went to a class reunion, and I never said what I did, all through high school or anything, college, nothing. But when I went to a high school reunion, they were giving out awards like for the most, who in our class had the most children. Luckily, not me. And who lived the farthest? Not so much. Uh, Unusual jobs, and they call my name. And it's like, are you kidding me? I don't know who knew, but at the time I was on with Trapper all the time on Halloween.
Gotcha.
And again, apparently my voice is, people recognize my voice for some reason. And so it was like, and then it was like, you're the one I listen to every Halloween. Oh my gosh. So it was mixed. Some people went, never. Other people went, they had 10,000 questions. So it just depended.
Oh, Lewis says, "No, sorry. They are more in the country. He's a city boy."
Okay. Well, just curious. That's all.
Dawn says, "Whoops, it bumped. I was worried because I told my friend about the lava abundance checks, and he was worried that in the end I might owe something as payment."
No, 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 no. Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
How did Hollywood find you?
From James Bond Prague. He had gotten his hands, somebody had sent him one of my original self-published books, and he read it and called me because he didn't believe a word of it. And surprise. And so after that, that's what happened. And of course, I think when you live in California, you always know someone. Because,
Right.
yeah. Well, I can get hold of someone because I know someone and they can do it. They always know so. It's
The
like,
Princess Coven's wife's sister is.
yeah, exactly. So, and I've heard that, and it's just like, yeah, fine, whatever, okay. The only thing is, at the time, he did have his own TV show. He had one, and so did John Edwards. They were on. So yeah, so I was thinking, yeah, well, maybe, and then it did happen. So.
I don't know if I were in a place as, Von Prague, if I had gotten that book, would I go out of my way to call somebody or contact them if I called BS? I think I'd be more likely to contact them if I thought it was worthwhile. He
really thought that it wasn't, and
Did he think he was gonna know it?
and the comeback for me on that was this, because I had seen his show on TV. And I just didn't understand, because when I talk to an earthbound spirit, I mean, name, date they died, where they're buried. Some of them give me their social security number, like, I don't know why. But I watched him, and he would stand on a stage and look at his audience and go, I'm getting a J, maybe a Jack or a John. And I'm sitting here watching this. So when he hit me with, well, I didn't, he says, I question what you can do. And I said, oh, that's interesting. I says, because why can't you get a direct answer? You got to stand up there and go, J, Jack, Judy. It says, why don't they just tell you what their name is? And he just didn't say anything.
Right.
So, it can go both ways.
Maybe he needs to come to the development circle every first and third Tuesday. And
well, I don't know, because now he can see Earthbound spirits.
We're going to move on to the next. I ain't going to touch that with the 10-foot pole.
That's right. That's a good idea.
Next question. Baylor 1 says, did the deceased mind how people are dressed at their funerals?
Cute little story. Lady called me up. She called me up the Wednesday before Thanksgiving. She said her grandma died. She was 90 years old, and that they wanted me to come to the funeral on Friday. Well, Friday isn't exactly a holiday after Thanksgiving, but back in the day, that was the day that everybody did their Christmas shopping. I mean, that was a day that we would take the kids downtown to see Santa Claus and Mr. Jingling and whatever that moose's name was that talked. And what was that moose's name?
It was Spruce.
Oh, it was Bruce the Spruce. It was a tree. So at any rate, whatever it was, gone. So I says, oh, really? She's like 90 years old. Don't you seriously think she's going to cross over? I really don't think I need to come to your grandma's funeral. She goes, well, yeah, because she might be angry with us because 5 years ago she had a blockage and we had surgery, and then she got another blockage about 6 months ago and we didn't do surgery and she died. So is she mad because we didn't have the surgery done? I went, oh, Lord. I said, okay. So I show up at the funeral home. There's Grandma, real pretty. She's got a real pretty dress on. And I walk up to her and I said to her, told her who I was. I asked her if she was angry that they didn't do the surgery. No. I didn't want to live any longer anyway. Blah, 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 blah. I said, okay, cranky old lady, fine. And so then she says, and my dress is on backwards.
Oh.
I said, what? She says, my dress is on backwards. She says, the buttons go in the back, not the front. I went, oh my. And I said, okay. So I called the granddaughter over. I said, she's okay. She's not angry that you didn't have the surgery, but her dress is on backwards. She says, what? I said, that's what she said. Granddaughter reaches in the casket, goes to the front of the dress and pulls it like this. There's the tag. They dressed her backwards. So she went, oh my God. Okay, I'll have the funeral director take everybody out and he can change her dress around. I said, no, that's not going to work. She goes, why not? And I said, move the blanket at the bottom by her knees. And she did. And I says, now pick up the hem of the dress and go through the hem. So she did. And the back of the dress was cut right up the back. In this case, the front of the dress was cut up. They cut your clothes to put them on you. Your body's stiff for a reason. You're dead. That's why the little nickname is Stiffs. And so it's very hard to dress a person, and it's easier to cut the clothes. And oh my God, Grandma was so mad. Oh my God, that she would. Do you know what I paid for that dress? And they cut it. And I'm thinking,
it doesn't matter anymore.
You're already dead. What difference does it make? But she said, okay, ask her what does she want me to go to the house and get. So she's hemming out. I don't know. I like that pink blouse, but I think there's a stain on it. Or she's carrying on like this. And I looked at her and I said, knock it off. You're dead. It doesn't make any difference. You look fine just the way you are. The only person that knows it's backwards is you, me, and your granddaughter. I said, so don't worry about it. Well, I don't know. Well, she can't tell anybody that it's on backwards. I said, yeah, we'll keep it a secret. So yeah, some people don't like their hair. Some people don't like the color of their lipstick. Ladies want their nails polished if they always had nail polish on. They're very particular, some of them, the way they look, yes.
So it's more about how they're dressed rather than the people in attendance.
Correct. The people in attendance, the only time there was ever a problem was for my own father. The funeral director came to the house to collect the clothes to put on Dad. And my mother had gone in the bedroom and pulled out a suit and all this stuff and everything. And she came out with a mint green shirt and a tie that matched it. And the funeral director said, oh, get a different colored shirt, even a white shirt, blue, but not green. And she goes, but that was one of his favorite shirts. He really liked that shirt. And the funeral director's looking at me, and I'm thinking, why doesn't he want green? And then it dawned on me. I says, Mom, he's going to look like he's moldy around the neck because it's going to, the green is going to show on his skin. You don't want a green shirt on somebody that's dead. Yeah. She went, oh, yeah, okay. So she ended up putting a different color. But that was the only time that and everybody that's gone to a funeral, they never have green on.
I've never noticed. Well, I've only been to a handful.
Yeah, well, I've been to a lot. They don't have green. So,
last time.
Yeah, right.
One of our local friends here, Aaron, says, morning, ladies. I lost my husband Monday morning at 3:43 a.m. Has he crossed over? Sorry, Aaron.
I don't know. I can't tell from this, but if you have not had the actual funeral yet, then he has not. They always stay for their funeral. So if you're not having a funeral and it's just a burial or cremation, then his 48 to 72 hours would start at that point. So I do not know if he's crossed over. I'm so sorry, especially around the holidays. That really sucks. But you could always call after in about a week or so, and let's see if he crossed over.
Our friend Sandy, if you came and saw, Marianne this weekend, Sandy was there helping out. She had her paisley pants on.
Yeah, nice.
Sadie says, I remember one of the episodes in the Ghost Whisperer series was about a plane crash. Is that story inspired by something that really happened? It was one of her favorite episodes.
I don't know how many people remember Flight 800 that crashed in the Atlantic. I don't remember at this point whether it was takeoff or landing, but I had been called into that. And so that was one of the stories that the writers, they wanted, and if I remember correctly, that was the cliffhanger for the 1 year. And the only thing that bothered me is that, of course, I had no say in any of that, but they showed the plane and they showed the faces of everybody that was dead out the windows, and they were all frozen in the plane. They looked like human popsicles. And I thought, why are they doing that? I mean, it was, but yeah, no, that was, all of the stories were partially true. They just definitely Hollywoodized all of them.
Let's see. Patrick says, Marianne, when you see Earthbounds, do you see and hear them with your eyes and ears, or is it like you're seeing them in your mind's eye?
No, I see them with my eyes, and I think I'm hearing them with my ears, but it's in my head, and I don't hear them talk out loud. I don't have to answer them out loud. Sometimes I do answer them like, you got to be kidding me. You want me to say that? But, but no. And most of them get my looks pretty good. If I think they're really BSing me, they know that they're doing that.
So I'm catching up to some of the comments, and some of these are from what we've talked about. So Lewis says, oh my God, not James Brown Pride coming from Marianne when you can't even get a name.
Yes, exactly.
And then he had asked, I feel like the ghost whisperer is very dramatic. What was the dramatic, probably the most dramatic thing that happened to you with a ghost?
In the one book, when the ghost flipped the axe in front of me in the garage, no ghost has ever thrown anything at me like that. And I mean, the aim was good. Like I said, they cannot kill you, but boy, that little red-handled handheld axe just went right in front of my face, hit the concrete floor in the garage, slid in to the garage door that was fiberglass. And when it hit, you have no idea how loud that was. And it was like, holy smokes, what the heck's going on? And so, and that's the picture in that one of the ugly ghost that threw it. And I took that picture.
Now I'm looking for like where I laid my copy. Be like, it's here. It's
The copy of that picture.
yeah. Well, the copy of Ghost Speak that has the picture in it.
I don't think you're going to be able to see it very well. Can you sort of see the man standing? Let's see, how do I do this? Right here is the face of the man that threw the axe. But it's, if you have the book, you could see it a little bit better. But, and he's the one that didn't even, when I made the light, he said he'd go and he just went down and out. He never did go with the light. So, and that happened probably 35 years ago. And I've never run into this guy anywhere else, which I got to tell you, I'm surprised because I really thought I would. And you know how some towns have a nickname to it? Oh, yeah, that's the Grange. We call it the Grange because the Grange is there and blah, blah, blah. Well, the town that this lady lived in, where this house was with this creepy ghost, the town was nicknamed Devil Town.
Oh, I wonder if he had anything to do with that.
I don't know. Never did find out. That everybody, oh yeah, we just call it Devil Town. Like, why? Is that a mascot for one of the high school, you know, the Devils? Or no, we just call it Devil Town. It's like, how many people saw Children of the Corn or read the book? That's sort of where I was at.
I kind of lived in that area before now.
Oh, I can point you right in the right direction.
It was like, you know, I would tell them that my little villa that I lived in. They're like, "Where's that?" And I'm like, "Cornfield."
Yeah, well, it was all cornfields and farms around it. Yep.
So James wants to know, what's the weirdest or oddest place you've encountered a ghost?
You know, James, they're everywhere. There's no weird. I mean, I was surprised when I saw them in church, grocery stores. You know, where you would expect to see them, I don't see them. Like, I can drive by a cemetery. I'd never see a ghost in a cemetery. So there's places that you don't see them, but there's theaters. They're everywhere.
So Gina says, my sister felt someone standing next to her in her bedroom and heard someone slowly saying her name 2 times, which really frightened her. Is an earthbound spirit capable of doing something like this?
Oh, absolutely. They can talk out loud. And like this Saturday is a full moon. So if you have somebody in your house, they're going to be very active this week and talking, touching. How many people think their babies are crying at night because they hear a baby crying and they get out of bed and the kids sound asleep? They can make sounds like a baby crying. And sometimes it's a cat yowling, but they can make baby sounds too. Or real quiet, mommy, mommy. And it's like you jump out of bed, the kids sound asleep. So yeah, they can absolutely. Or you yell downstairs, what'd you want? You called me. I never called you. Yep, they can do things like that. Yes.
Well, before you cleared my old house, the boys, when they were little, they would come in sometimes from the den and, you know, like, what? And be like, what? And they're like, well, you keep calling me. And I'm like, no,
And
I don't.
kids are good. Kids can hear them almost easier than adults. So yeah, definitely. As a matter of fact, one of the things on YouTube at 5:30 today, actually, two of the letters have talked about somebody talking to them.
Mm. Let's see. Oh, our friend Cindy says, back to no green at a funeral. She goes, no green. I'm sure my camel loving husband will be disappointed.
Yeah, no. Unless you're going to put fern around them or something to make, put a tree branch in front of them. Yeah.
And Rhonda says, yeah, I'm getting cremated. None of that stuff.
Yeah. Well, the old saying, and so many of us at a certain age have heard our parents say, if they can't come and see me when I'm alive, I don't want them to see me when I'm dead. So no funeral, just cremate me and that's it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's what you want.
My mom wants to be one of those people planted in an urn that becomes a tree. And, I always think of that meme, like that's how we get haunted forests. You're going to contribute to a haunted forest. I can respect that.
Yeah, no, I think if that's what the person wants, they'll go to the light and it'll be just fine. But if it's not what they want, oh yeah, but they're not going to hang out with the trees. They'll be back in your house.
Right. Baylor one says, I guess standards have changed. When I was young, people dressed up to attend funerals.
Isn't it terrible anymore? The ripped jeans, shorts. Somebody wrote me a letter that she was so disappointed. The way people came dressed to a funeral, it's just lack of respect. I agree with that, but have you been to a college campus? They go to the classes in their pajamas. Why would it surprise you that this is how people dress to go to a funeral now?
Well, not too long ago, I went to go support a friend for her father-in-law's funeral, and I knew him through her, and he was an adorable old guy. But I was coming from work, so I'm in my t-shirt. I'm like, I'll come hang out, be there for you if you want. She goes, yeah, and I'm like, I am not dressed for a funeral, and I felt awkward, and I stood way in the back because I'm like, I feel disrespectful.
Yeah, you would think, right?
Especially when he had a Masonic funeral, and there's all of it, and I'm like, and here I am,
right. Well, and the one funeral that I went to, she was a Kiss fan. And they decked her out to look like the guy that sings for Kiss, the white face, the tongue. I mean, walked up to the casket and I almost fell over. It's like, you got to be kidding me. Really? Oh, here she goes.
I mean, I kind of like it. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah. But in California, they get buried in their cars. Some of the people that die have really strange requests of what they want.
Yeah. Now, that being said, I mean, I've already told Rune, after my one aunt's funeral, was very religious. And I remember we were in the back and was very Christian. And I'm just like, we're going to pay our respects to, Aunt Emma. We're not partaking in any of this craziness here. And I really kind of walked out of the building when the minister was like, now everybody come up and kiss the ring of God that he was wearing. And I'm like, no. I mean, he's like, are we doing that? I said, no, we're not. And so I told him when we went and sat back in the car waiting for everybody to get done kissing this ring. But I'm like, when I die, if my shaman teacher is still around, because he's older than I'm like, you get a hold of him, y'all make a big ass bonfire and throw a hell of a party. I'm like, we're not doing any of this. I'm like, no, this is not what we're doing. And he's like, okay, I don't like.
The only two people I've ever seen have their ring kissed is the Godfather and the Pope. I've never seen
that's
that guy has an ego, whoever he was, because that's ridiculous.
Yeah, I couldn't even tell you which religion. Some Christian, and not bashing Christian, but just whatever that was. And my mom, who's Catholic, and technically I'm still confirmed Catholic. I don't think they ever completely booted me out. Um, so I'm used to ceremony, pomp and circumstance, and I'm like, what is this? Like, no, I'm not kissing your ring, dude. This is about my aunt, not your ring.
Right,
And
right.
we went out the side door.
I've never, no, haven't seen that. And I'm the type of thing that if some minister told me to do that, I would just, oh yeah, no, I would have to say something. No.
Yeah, it's like, let's go sit in the car and wait for the procession to finally leave and
Right.
call it done. Um, and the look on my mom's face when she turned to look at me, and I'm like, "We're going out. Are you guys?" She goes, "Yeah." I'm like, "Okay, we'll meet you."
Yeah.
We were parked next to one another. So Melissa Thomas says, "I have a question. Huge fan of the show, and I cried a lot. Ain't gonna lie. But what was the thing about the tunnels? What was the meaning of that? Did you reference tunnels in the chat?"
Okay. Years ago in downtown Cleveland, I don't remember. I'm sure somebody can look it up. It was either in the 30s or the 40s. There was a huge gas leak, and the pipes were in the tunnels under the city, and they blew up. I forget how many kids died in the school. Oh, so many people got killed in the city. It blew up out of the street. I mean, if you go to one of those machines in a library where you can look at old photos from newspapers, they had pictures of it and everything.
Hmm.
And I started doing some houses or buildings in downtown Cleveland, and I was running across people that had died in that gas explosion so many years prior. And the writers, that's why I was out in California so much. Well, do you have anything with tunnels or caves or splodunking or something like that? And I came up with, I says, well, yeah, there was a really bad blah, 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 blah. And I told them, and that's what they came up with.
Hmm. Did they ever do an episode based on the Lake Erie salt mines?
They did not, but I've been in them. There were a lot of ghosts in there too. Let me tell you.
They won't let us do a ghost walk, will they?
No, they will not. I got to tell you, I don't know how many people would actually want to do that though.
Me.
There's some tunnel, and I don't know where. These tunnels that go through mountains
Hmm.
or that go underwater.
Hmm.
I'm just not a fan of those things at all. So yeah, no, I wouldn't do that.
Something about the tunnel coming down, maybe. And
Yeah. Even at the aquarium, the Cleveland Aquarium,
Mhm.
there's a special place where you can walk underneath and see the fish above you and swimming. No, don't go to do that either.
Oh, I like that. And
Yeah.
when they had the, I think they still have it, the pet tank where you can pet the stingrays and stuff.
Well, that was fun. Yeah, but you don't have to go in a tunnel to do that.
No,
I
no,
did
I
that at
just
the
like the delicate
zoo.
thing.
No, we did that at the zoo where we touched the
I know.
stingray
So when they took that out, I'm like, that's the only reason why I came.
for the
Like,
stingray.
yes, to pet the stingrays.
Oh, I like the butterflies too. The butterfly counter where they would land on you. That was cool.
I am kind of like horrified how many of my friends actually have a phobia of butterflies. I'm like, how can you be afraid of butterflies? There's at least two of them that I know. I'm
Butterfly.
like, seriously, of all the things, butterfly? But it's a thing. It is definitely a phobia. Um,
I know 3 people that are scared to death of chickens, and I don't understand that,
well, they
but
can be evil little creeps. I mean, there's videos of them chasing people, and But I mean, a butterfly. What's a butterfly gonna do at you? Flap in your face? Come on.
yeah, they're not even, I don't think butterflies are even poisonous, are they? Are there poisonous butterflies? I don't think so.
Maybe some of their, caterpillar states, maybe, or some of the moths might be, but I don't think so. Okay. Are there ghosts in hospitals?
Oh my
Yes.
gosh, yes, tons of them. And uh, every floor, the emergency room in city hospitals are worse than private hospitals. but every emergency room is absolutely full. I cannot tell you how many life flight helicopters that I've done. I mean, yes, they're everywhere.
That's more scary to me than them being in the actual hospital itself.
Yes,
'Cause
especially when they're in the operating rooms and
mhm,
they are in the recovery rooms. You are 100% correct. That's why I tell people, if you know you're having elective surgery and you've got a quinceed, boy, you have that on you somewhere taped when you're having some kind of surgery. You don't want anybody extra coming home, and you want to be able to heal as fast as you can.
mhm. Let's see. Liz has a pretty interesting question. Is there any difference between how a suicide reacts at their funeral versus a natural death?
There used to be more of a difference when it was when the Catholic Church claimed that you went automatically to hell when you did that, that that was a mortal sin. So here these people that killed themselves are standing at the foot of their casket. Why would I go into the light to go to hell? I'm better off staying here and not going into the light. So back then it was
Oh,
what happened? I can't hear you.
I threw on mute real quick because they're mowing right outside and I didn't want to.
Okay. So anyway, uh but nowadays, because the church has said that it's okay, if they see somebody like a grandma, grandpa, or a relative that died before them in the light, that person usually has a really good chance of convincing them to go to the light where they're not stuck. Some of the old timers, and of course, you're going to hear this from anybody, they change the Bible when it suits them. So, who knows? But and what I have found that I think helps people sometimes is some people absolutely are going to go along with the whole thing of killing myself. They have it all planned out how they're going to do it. But after they start, some of them decide this is a wrong thing. I shouldn't do it. But they've gone too far and they die anyway. So some people are already sorry that they have done it.
Mhm. Let's see. Westy's rule says, do you think that large places can be cursed? I have been reading about Fort Hood, which has many unexplained murder suicides. The land for that base was taken by the government post Civil War.
Absolutely. I mean, airports, any kind of a military base, just going to have, just think of the people that are just cranky there and don't want to be there or crabby. And look at all the negative energy, let alone ghosts. My gosh. I mean, I would guess that every person that is training recruits when they come in probably have some old Marine ghost standing next to them, tell them to do this, tell them to do that. And yeah, it's full. It can be cleared, but it doesn't last very long because it's too big of a space.
Hmm.
It's like when I was asked to clear out Cleveland Hopkins Airport. It's like, are you crazy? Me and what army? You do one wing of the hospital or one concourse, three planes come in and it's full again. It's like, no, no, that's not going to work. And then it was my idea when I was approached with that. How about if we do the tower? That directs the planes and everything. That would make more sense to me. I thought that was stupid. So nothing was done. So it's okay. I,
Because they know more than the person who actually does this for a living.
well, yeah, because
Okay.
everybody has an opinion on how it works.
So Rhonda says, my husband wants cremated and thrown in the compost pile. How to explain that to the family?
He's buried right where he wants to be. He's in the backyard. He
Mhm.
wants to stay close to home. He's probably a little bit of the ash in the tomato you're eating now because the compost went on the tomato plants. Ugh.
Maybe I would almost be the person too, like at the next family barbecue, like everybody's there. I'm like, all right, now you stand up and tell them now, right now, while we're all living, and you
Where
get.
you're going. Right. Right. There you go.
I'm going to throw you under your own bus there, buddy.
Right. Well, it's like the guy that when I went to the funeral, the woman said her husband died. Would I come to the funeral? And I said, yeah. And I go to the funeral. I was absolutely flabbergasted. The casket was standing up, leaning against the wall. The guy was in the casket. And we had little girls. When they got baby dolls for Christmas or their birthday, they were in a box. And if you think about it, it looks like a little casket. But they were held in there with like twisties around their neck. And because you have to take it all apart to get the doll out. Why didn't that guy fall out right on his nose? What did they have? Bungee straps around him under his clothes? How could he stay standing up in a casket?
A lot of E6000.
Instant glue? I don't know. So his wife was standing next to me. I said, what the heck is this? I said, why is he like this? The husband's standing there laughing. And she said, well, she goes, no, let him tell you. I said, okay. And I looked at the guy that was dead. I says, what is this? This is what you wanted? He goes, my wife's pretty smart. He said, I told her for years I never want to be laid out in a funeral home. So she stood me up. I said, amazing. I says, and the funeral director obviously went along with you. She goes, yeah. She says, he thought it was pretty funny. So who knows what people do weird things.
That, I don't know. It's just give me my bonfire and party and call it a day.
Well, there's always, not so much now, but back in the day when the funerals lasted longer than now, there was always booze down in the basement. There was always a party after. It wasn't all solemn.
So it's funny. I'm sitting here reading everybody's comments to one another, and there's a lot of people. One person said that they went to a Catholic schoolgirl, or the mom did. Tony says, my mom went to a Catholic girls' school back in the 50s, and she said they were supposed to kiss the priest's ring, which she hated to do.
Boy, they never had that at my Catholic schools, and I went through all Catholic schools.
I think that was that particular priest in a power.
Yeah, no. There are some. No, we won't go into funny priests. Let it go.
That could be 3 whole episodes. All
of no, we're not going there. Right.
Let's say, and Denise has a good point, especially now with like COVID and everything. She's like, I went to a Russian Orthodox funeral and they were kissing a statue or portrait of Christ or their saint. I work in the medical field. Kissing the thing after all these other people were kissing it. Gross.
I don't think they do that anymore. If it's your own rosary and you kiss it before you put it away, nobody else is slobbering over it. Terrific. But no, I don't think. Well, I think they even stopped doing, the shaking of the hands and stuff in church anymore because of COVID. Mm-hmm. And maybe that's a little habit that will continue once, if anything goes back to normal.
I don't think the old normal is ever going to be the new normal again. I think we're kind of
I'm still hoping.
Let's see. Oh, Amy says her aunt has requested everyone to wear OSU clothes to her funeral.
Well, that's good. I just saw an obituary where somebody said, dress like the 50s. There's going to be music. And, my kids know what I want played at none of that funeral quiet music when I'm shown. Mm-hmm. I got my 60s playlist that they're going to be playing. Spirit in the Sky, Norman Greenbaum.
Let's see. Lewis says, I live about half an hour away from central London. Do you see a difference in city ghosts than suburban country ghosts in the way they speak, act, and look?
Lewis, in the country, they're going to mess with cows. In the city, they're going to mess with your dogs and cats. But they're still going to mess with animals. They're going to do anything to aggravate you. And usually the ghosts that are in the country were people that's where they lived when they were alive. People tend to stay in the areas where they lived or what they're used to. So yeah, it's sort of, a lot of farmers in dairy country. That's where I see ghost cows. But in the city, I'm going to see, a ghost dog more than a ghost dog or cow rather.
Mm. I saw a lot of people talking about butterflies. Like Dawn. I admit to running away from butterflies when I was a kid. And
Did
Lewis
you think
says,
they were bees?
my grandma has a friend who's
Bees.
afraid of peas. I mean, I don't like them. They taste like little balls of dirt to me, but I'm not afraid of them. I'll pick them out.
Most people don't like peas. I love peas, but most people don't like peas at all.
And Brussels sprouts taste the same way to me. I like every other vegetable but those two. And
But
I have
do
tried.
you eat cabbage?
Mhm.
And you don't like Brussels sprouts?
Mm-mm.
They're not cooked right then. If they were cooked right, you'd like them.
Let's see. You've talked about using the smoker from a beekeeper, and
Yeah.
says, "Good morning, ladies. I discovered the best smudging tool ever: a bee smoker from Beekeeping Supplies, inexpensive on Amazon. You will thank me later."
Oh my gosh. Thanks for the info. I know, like I said, that one guy absolutely does it. But I didn't know anybody could just buy that. That's great.
Oh, and Rhonda says, "I'm hoping an excellent surgeon ghosts are the ones that are in the operating room."
Not usually.
Let's see. Have you dealt? Because Allie says, curious about mass deaths, i.e., airplanes. Ever dealt with a spirit from such an accident?
Yeah. Yeah, I ran across ghosts that were killed in the field on 9/11. So, yeah. And there were ghosts from the 800. Yeah. There were ghosts from 9/11 in the towers. Yeah. They definitely, you have to understand, you're going to get a higher percentage of people stay after a quick, unexpected death. And everybody may think the plane they're riding is going to crash, but it usually doesn't. But the ones that do, that's unexpected.
And what about courtrooms? Are they full of ghosts?
Mm-hmm.
I would almost
Yeah.
as mad as a hospital, right? Because
Yeah. It was just amazing. I did the city of Cleveland courts, and it was crazy because I was actually on jury duty for downtown Cleveland. And oh my gosh, the ghosts that were attached to the people that were picked for the jury, the ghosts that were attached to the prosecutor or the defending attorney, the judge. And then some of them got in my face. Well, you're a psychic. You might find out things we don't want people to know. It's like, no, I'm not a psychic. It's okay. But I'm not going to go through the story. It's too long. But at the end, I said to the judge at the time, I said, why is he questioning me like this? I didn't do anything wrong. The judge said, you're right, Mrs. Winkowski, you are excused. You do not have to stay. And I said, thank you. And I stood up and I turned around and I looked at the judge. I says, thank you very much for excusing me. And I looked at the guy that was giving me all the trouble. He was the defending attorney. And I said, those secondhand golf clubs that you bought at that garage sale 2 weeks ago, you got a real deal on those. The original owner is right with them. And I walked out. One of the jurors, when they came back, one of the guys that was on the jury came up to me. He said, you're not going to believe what the judge said to him after you left. I said, what did he say? He said, Are you kidding me? You're that cheap and you bought used golf clubs? And I guess this attorney almost fell over.
Just kind of demeaned anything else he had to say in the whole court case here.
That's right. That was it. So
Let's see. A lot of people are dig a hole, plant me, and have a party.
yeah, right.
Oh, Dawn says, when I was younger and went to Sunday service, there was a priest that could say mass in like 10 minutes, Father Doyle. Those
I would have gone to that mass for sure. If he could knock it out in 10 minutes, my kind of priest.
Oh my goodness. ELW asks, when you see ghosts, what do you see in the background? Do you ever see heaven?
No, I do not, because the spirits that I see are earthbound. And I can, even when I make the white light, they are saying that they are seeing people as they're walking into it, but I cannot. So I don't know what they see. And people that have had near-death experiences, when they see the bright white light, they see their relatives. And in all honesty, most of those people do not even want to come back. They want to stay dead, but it's not their time, so they come back. But no, I don't know. I can only, what they tell me is what they see. I don't know.
Only because I have a similar story. Our friend Sadie says my friend's uncle was about to become a priest before he met the love of his life at the seminary. And my mom's father was actually enlisted in the army in seminary school to be a priest in the military. And he was home on leave, went into a little diner, and my grandma was working there and decided he liked grandma more than becoming a priest. So
some good women saved those guys. That's for sure.
Which also meant then that mom had to go through Catholic school, St. Mary's and Illyria and everything.
Right.
All of that fun stuff. And Sandy says, I told my family I want a Harry Potter themed funeral. That would be fun.
And you'll be late for your own service. Cute.
And Lewis wants Pretty Woman played at his funeral.
Oh, okay.
Sounds like a party going to happen there with Lewis.
Sounds like it'll be fun. Yeah.
Let's see. Anne Marie says, any suggestions on how to remove an ancestral curse? I have been told multiple times that there is one in my bloodline.
Yes. Get When Ghosts Speak. If you don't want to buy it, go to the library and get it. The last chapter in this book tells you how you can remove the negative energy. You cannot do it to yourself, but you can have a friend do the little ceremony on you, and it will absolutely take it off. It doesn't have nothing fancy, but it will absolutely work. Now, generational curses do not affect anybody else in the family until they're 18. So once you have this curse taken off of you, then you would have to take the curse off of any of your relatives from that bloodline, so that everybody is cleared, because you won't be the only person in that bloodline. And you have to figure it out. Is the generational curse affecting every family member? Only the men in the family, only the firstborn in the family, only the women in the family. So that all has to be figured out, and who you're going to do. But to get it off of you, just get When Ghosts Speak.
Let's see. And those can be found, Marianne, on your website and our website.
In your store. Goddess Elite has them too, and they're on the website. Yeah.
So Dr. Addie Cakes McGee, one of my cats is always tracking things around the ceiling, but there's never anything visibly there. Is this ghost stuff?
When dogs look up at the ceiling, they are usually looking at spirits that have crossed over. When a dog is looking at an earthbound spirit, it's usually eye level when they're growling or staring, or the fur on the back goes up. Cats, however, are a little bit more tuned in, and sometimes when they're, tracking across the ceiling, it's an earthbound one. Sometimes it's one that crossed over. If they don't seem agitated, then it's probably somebody that crossed over. If they seem the tail starts flicking and they're, moving around or the eyes get real big, that's probably an earthbound one.
So going back to courtroom, Rhonda says, "Ha! Defense attorneys deserve that during jury selection."
No kidding.
And Lewis says, "Oh my God, Marianne ending defense attorney with golf clubs." um, and Vangela says, do the Earthbounds in the courtroom tell secrets? Like, are they? How would you explain that though? Like, that's not evidence you can submit.
And that's exactly right. It is evidence that I could not submit, and that was the big hangup. The whole time I was down there, I was never selected for a jury. And one of the judges at lunchtime came into the cafeteria. He had been at one of the selections. And he said to me, "I know who you are." He says, "I've heard you on the radio." I said, "Yeah." And he said, "I don't know if you can do what you do." He said, "But if you can't," he said, "or if you do," he says, "if you are put on a jury," he said, "you're going to end up with information that nobody else has if you can really do this. If you can't do this," he said, "you're a loose cannon waiting to go off." He said, "nobody's going to set you on a jury." But yeah, no, they tell secrets. It's like they tell secrets if I have to clear a jail or a prison. They have all kinds of secrets. Of course, they're all innocent too.
Yeah. Like, add that to the long list of everybody's innocent.
Everybody else, right.
ELW says we all need to get together and move the curse of the Cleveland Browns.
I have tried. They will not do it. I took it off the Indians, but the Browns just are stubborn about it. They just won't let me do it.
Let's see. There was a question and it popped. Roberta says, you've mentioned having a priest or minister bless a house for someone who can't smudge. I had to stop smudging due to COPD. How long does that last? Will it help to sprinkle sea salt at the entrance afterwards? She lives in an apartment.
Well, that's your problem right there. Living in an apartment or a condo, it goes in and out constantly. First of all, maybe somebody could smudge for you. Having a priest come out and do the house, it lasts, if you're lucky, 4 weeks, usually 3. And if you can at least smudge in an apartment, you're not going to have more than 2 exits. And if you can definitely smudge or have somebody do it for you, and you do this on a day that I know you're doing it and you're going to call me when it's done, then you could put seeds up over whatever doors you have, because it would be empty and at least nobody could come in, while you're living there. But if you can't find somebody to smudge for you, and at Melissa's on Sunday when I was there for the meet and greet, so many people came up to me with the spray smudge, and it just doesn't work.
It's more good for yourself.
Yeah, it'll work for yourself, but not for a room, or certainly not a whole house or apartment. And yeah, you can go ahead and put the sea salt down. 75% of the time it'll stop. But the smudging is really the best that I can think of.
Let's see. Has a spirit ever told you something that you just struggle to keep to yourself?
Yeah, there's some things I would love to blab, but no, can't do it. That is one of the reasons I think why I work with so many different law enforcement agencies. Keep my mouth shut.
Oh, and Dawn asks, it's the Om symbol, part of Reiki, third eye, crown chakra type thing. And it just happened to be the mug that was the first one that came out of the kitchen cabinet this morning. Let's see. Good question. Rhonda says, what about forced air vents in apartments? Do you need to put a seed over them too?
No, you do not. But there's two sneaky places when
This one's behind me. Other side. It's
yeah,
backwards.
this side. Yeah, no,
Yeah.
that doesn't need it. No. If you live, there's two places that do need it, however. If you live in a converted double or triple and your heat registers are on the floor, and sometimes you could, if you put your ear down on them, you can hear what's going on downstairs underneath you. Sometimes you can actually see light through that. Yeah, they can come through that. The other place that, and it's really odd, in old houses with medicine cabinets that open up, there's a shelf that, the shelves are in there. Behind one of the shelves is a slit, a little bit bigger and a little bit thicker than a razor blade. And that's what that was used for, to put old razor blades between the walls so they didn't end up in the garbage and somebody getting cut. But bathrooms in apartments are usually one on top of another because of the plumbing situation. And I have seen them come up and down through that.
Well, I know, like, we had to put one on the wood burning stove at my house, at my old house.
Anything that's fluid.
Mm-hmm. Let's see. Julie says, I have a spirit in my home for around 2 years. I feel it's a male friend named John, and he is worried about me. Not sure why, though. My dog is scared and shakes uncontrollably, so he sees him in the dark only.
Well, if this was your friend, number one, I would think your dog would know who it is. So it shouldn't be afraid. And the other thing is, 2 years, if you've had a dream of John, then he's crossed over and it is not him, it's somebody else. And even if you haven't had a dream of John, have any of his other friends or relatives had a dream of him, as long as somebody has had a dream of him, then he's definitely crossed over.
Let's see. So, speaking of, that could be something that would be good for the Zoom session, which our next Zoom is this Friday, but it's full. So the next Zoom that's available is January 14th, which is a Friday. And that starts at 7:30 p.m. So if you are wanting to join us, great. Doesn't matter where you're from. Just please be mindful of the time change. You have to adjust your time to our time to be able to participate. So if you think you have earthbound spirits, a portal, negative energy, come on. Marianne will be able to tell you. Because instead of you guys only being able to see us and we can't see you, Marianne will be able to see you with the Zooms. So she'll be able to tell you what you have going on in your house and what to do about it if you're not local, for her to go help clear that out. Cost of that is $25, and it is limited to 30 people. So
25 people.
Sorry, 25. I saw that look and I'm like, whoops, that was the old number.
Yeah. No, back up. Yeah.
Oh, I got the eye look.
Yeah.
Yeah, the only people that are going to know what's going on are you and the other people. It is not broadcasted. Nobody else is going to know your business. So yeah, we've got the 14th of January and the 24th. First one's Friday. The next one's Monday.
The store, if you're looking for stuff, or on my website, suggestion, please have your order in so it can be shipped by the 19th or the 20th. It'll be priority. But I don't know how much we're going to be able to trust the post office.
Mm-hmm. To sign up for Zoom, you can either go to Marianne's site or goddesselite.com under haunted events on the Goddess Elite site. What else? You have your 5:30 coming up tonight. And what was the topic again?
Yeah, just some really good questions. And two of them there was a ghost that was actually, they heard them talk. So, and it's funny that somebody asked about that this morning. So, but yeah, no, it's, and next week, the Christmas questions are definitely coming in. So next week it'll be Christmas ghosts.
There we go. I might have to wear my Christmas Jack Skellington shirt
Oh,
again.
there you go. Cute.
Let's see. So, oh, that's a good question. We'll ask that real quick. Does signing the law of abundance checks closer to the peak time make it more effective than if you did it right after midnight?
No, as long as it's sometime before it peaks that day, it's terrific. If you miss it, you could still do it after on that day, but it won't be as effective as if you did it before the new moon peaked. And it's new moon, not full moon.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. So there will be an event coming out or being announced by the end of this week. You'll find it on our website as well as over with Mary Ann. It's not going to happen until March, but we wanted to get everybody excited for it and planning.
Finally.
Yeah.
Finally.
It's been in my back pocket for a good month or so, but I'm like,
I know, but still, it's just as great. This is great.
Yeah. And you know, Julie and Dawn, thank you for the reminders. I hate sounding salesy and pitchy, but hit the like button, like, share, subscribe. If you could do it on both of our channels, that would be great. If you're watching on Mary Ann, come over to Goddess Elite. If you're on Goddess Elite, go give Mary Ann love. Because we do this every Wednesday at 10 a.m. So if you click the little bell for the notifications on YouTube, you'll get a reminder that, hey, Melissa and Mary Ann are live now. And it'll give you the reminder that we're on and going. So, yeah. You got anything else, Mary Ann, before we head out?
No, I think this is good. Everybody finish up here.
All right.
I thought I was going to make Christmas cookies this year, but no, I'm not going to do that because I'm just going to start to do people's houses again. So that's okay. We don't need cookies. Yeah. Right.
I'm sure my mom will have plenty if you want.
Yeah.
And the amount she makes now, it's hard to believe that it's like an eighth maybe of what she used to do. Like when we were little at Fort Campbell, kitchen counters would be piled with those big Tupperware square, like clear white containers. Kitchen counters, the top of the washer and dryer, the top of the freaking, you know, chest freezers. If you wanted to do laundry, you were restacking cookies.
You know, that's the way it was when the girls were little too. I don't know how many people remember Charlie chip cans that the potato chips used to come in. They were like round cans that said Charlie's chips on it. Oh, those kept cookies fresh forever if you could find those.
Huh. We'll have to go check that. I wonder if you can find them in an antique store.
Yeah, I found one somewhere and it was like $15. I went, yeah, no.
It's
$15 for a Charlie chip tin.
All right. All right. Well, thanks everybody for joining, and make sure to go ahead and join the Zoom sooner than later. They do fill up quick. So
yeah, they do. Thanks, everybody.
All right. Well, we'll see you guys next Wednesday.
Have a good week. Bye.
Bye, guys.